YouTube, what up? We are back with our Week 4 NFL recap. I am happy to report we had back-to-back winning weeks. Week 3, we already talked about last week, was a success. Week 4, which we just had, was another success. So we are currently on fire right now. We're starting to see a lot of the things I've been saying come to fruition. It's starting to become a reality. A lot of the predictions I made about certain players, certain teams, and overall our system of just trusting the process is starting to finally, come through over time. It's very important when you're doing things that have very small percentage edges like betting. You have to wait for enough time to pass to get enough data, enough of a sample size to kind of let it play out. Most guys that probably consume betting content, this kind of content, they'll pop in. If somebody has a good week, oh, this person's the best. The second they have a losing play, a losing week, oh, I'm out. That's how it goes. You can't really have that mindset and have any sort of success. You have to look at things in larger sample sizes. I can't remember if I publicly said it or not on this channel. My goal is to have at least a minimum of 100 bets publicly made and to have a 55% win rate. That's kind of what I would consider a professional level, and that's what I'm striving for with this channel. So let me kind of get more specific and recap where we're at here. Last week for week 3, we went 3-2-1. So we had 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 push. So that's a 60% win rate, which is really good. We'll take that any day of the week. Like I told you, 55% is really good. So we'll take 60% any day of the week. And last week we were 66%. So in the past 2 weeks, we're around 63% or so. That's kind of the streak we're on. But if we look at the whole entire season, we are 12 wins, 10 losses, which might not sound crazy great or whatever, but it's actually pretty good. 12-10 is actually like a 54.45% win rate. So it's literally just under our 55% goal. So we're slowly climbing our way there. Like we started the year kind of like 50-50, a little down, and now we're starting to get our groove. We've been climbing up the past 2 weeks. So last week, I remember we got up to 52.9%, I think, and this week we're up to 54.45%. So hopefully week by week, we start to just see as more time goes on, our numbers start to go up as far as the win rates we want to have, and the units were up. So that's the goal. I saw a stat earlier on Twitter. Shout out to, I think the account name is Ben Foz or Ben Fox, something like that. He posted some sort of stat about basically how much the public has won or lost, I should say, against the sports books this year. And the public, according to him, is basically like 36.6-ish%. So the public bettor is hitting at like 36.6%. On this channel, we're hitting at 54.45% right now. So we're beating the fucking shit out of the public right now. In this sports betting game, you're not going to... If any capper out there is claiming to be like, oh, I'm a 75% capper, I'm a 100% capper, I'm a 90%, they're full of shit. The best cappers they still have a slight edge. So I just want to make that clear. Like 50... If you're hitting 55%, 60%, like that's really, really good. Because like I just said, the public is getting murdered. They're at 36% or some shit. Something horrible. So that's a little housekeeping to get this started. As far as units goes, we are up about 1.63 units right now. Which, again, might not sound crazy, but that's solid. Okay, guys? Like, there's going to be people out there that they market it in a way that makes it sound better. Like, there'll be guys that are we're up 50 units this year, and these fucking idiots are giving out 15-unit plays, 5-unit plays regularly, 10-unit plays, 20, 100 play, 50-unit max, whale, mega bet, whatever. Bro, that's why they're able to market that they're up so many units. But what you don't understand is if you actually were to follow those plays, you're going to blow your bankroll probably because of how many units you're betting. Like, if you're betting 20 units, you can only lose a couple times or one time depending on how much you bet per play, and your bankroll's gone. The reason mine's going to be smaller is because I play way more conservative, and I look at the long-term approach. I look out for you guys, and I don't want to put anyone in harm's way on this channel. So all my plays so far that I've posted are 1 unit. So that's why, I can't market it as sexy as these other guys. But just look at the meat and potatoes. What is the win rate? Okay, what is the win rate and what is the average bet? Like, if you have a high win rate, but your average bet is minus 170, it's different. For me, my average bet rate's got to be minus 110 or so. We hit 3 money line winners this weekend that were all dogs. So mine might even be better than minus 110. So those are the two things you want to factor in: win rate and average odds on a win. So our craziest odds I think we've ever given out are minus 115. So ours are very clean stats here. None of this other fluff from other channels. I've already probably wasted too much time talking about this stuff. Sorry, let me get into the actual picks and kind of recap the games we had, okay? Sorry, if you made it this long, I appreciate you guys. But let's get into actual games now. So we'll start with the losers first. So we had 2 losers this week. The losers are always driving me crazy to talk about, man, because I'm just so competitive, and it's like I feel like I should win every play. Even though I know that's not realistic. So our first loser was the Giants. We had them plus 4.5 on Thursday Night Football. And this was like a really weird game to digest and like swallow. Like I still can't really make up my mind on it. Like, was it a good bet but a bad beat? Like, was it a bad bet? Like, did I get lucky? No, obviously didn't get lucky, didn't win, but like, did we get unlucky? Like, I want to say yes, but a part of me isn't sure. And I feel like a lot of people lost on this game. Like, I feel like there weren't a lot of winners on this game unless you bet the Giants late or the Cowboys early. I feel like pretty much everybody was on the Cowboys. There were some people on the Giants late. But the initial line for this was 4.5. And that's where I grabbed it because, look, we could all act like geniuses in hindsight. We don't know what the line's going to do. If I see a line that I like, I just have to assume that it's going to not get better. So I grabbed it at 4.5 because it wouldn't be as great at a worse number. So, and I was willing to live with it going to higher numbers because I liked the 4.5. It was a nice hook on a key number. So, well, obviously the people that had like the Cowboys minus 5 or 5.5, most people had minus 5.5 or 6. They're upset because, you know, the kicker missed one at the end there. If you're a guy like me who had Giants plus 4.5, which is probably a rare bunch that had that because it was only available for a short amount of time, you still feel like you should have won because if you watch that game, it felt like a very even game. It didn't feel like Dallas dominated the game. Like I think the Giants dominated the time of possession, and if you watch the game, like the Giants were consistently getting first downs, and they looked like Daniel Jones looked pretty good. His only weakness in the game was the deep ball. He cannot throw the deep ball to save his life accurately. And this guy, Darius Slayton, let me just get this out of the way. This guy should not be on an NFL roster. He's an absolute fucking loser. This guy needs a ball literally placed in his hand for him to catch it. He cannot catch a ball that travels from one man's hand to another. It has to be placed in his chest. The guy's horrible. Like he can't catch a ball that's even slightly challenging. These guys get paid millions of dollars. You're getting paid to catch challenging balls. Catch the fucking ball. Like, there were so many key downs at the end where this guy just could not make a play. So I'm salty about him. Had to get that out of the way. But yeah, this was a weird one. Daniel Jones looked pretty good. The biggest thing that killed us in this game is we had 5 field goals and 0 touchdowns. It was just frustrating because I'm like, dude, we get 1 touchdown, like we're covering. If 1 touchdown, and it's like a 50-50 game. But instead, we kicked all the field goals. Dallas didn't even seem to have as many opportunities as us, but they got 2 touchdowns out of it. So they just got ahead on the points off getting touchdowns versus field goals. It is what it is. I feel like we had more opportunities. We just did less with them. Giants could not run the ball at all. This was a prediction I got dead wrong because Dallas got absolutely gashed by Baltimore the week before. Maybe that says more about how dominant Baltimore is on the run game than Dallas being weak in the run game. So is what it is there. Yeah, so just didn't go our way. I'm not going to say it was a bad bet. I don't know. There were plenty of opportunities for the Giants to win this game and at least cover. So is what it is. It's a loss. On to the next. Next loss is going to be Panthers plus 4.5. This is another weird one. I do think this was a good bet. I think this should have covered, but if you didn't watch the game or see enough of it, you might not get the context. So on the first drive of the game, the Panthers got to the Bengals 1-yard line. They had 4th and 1, and they got stuffed. They got stuffed on the 1. That changed the whole cover of this game. Andy Dalton, I still think he's playing at like an elite level. Like, he's not even just playing at a good level. I think he's playing at an elite level right now. Like, they get a touchdown there. The Panthers put up 28 points. Like, if you put up 28 points, you should be able to win a football game. So this is still a team that's scoring a lot of points. And on the offensive side of the ball, I think they're pretty good right now. And we just got let down on the defense. It is what it is. There were 2 big plays in this game that fucked us on the spread. So yes, the Panthers defense was horrible. They can't tackle. You probably saw that top 10 SportsCenter play that Jamar Chase had where it looks like he broke 3 tackles, which he did, but was it really he broke 3 tackles, or is it more so these fucking guys don't tackle anymore? They just kind of like bump into a receiver and hope they fall to the ground. Nobody is like wrapping up anymore. I guess the hip drop tackle rule makes it a little weird to wrap up, and I don't know, but I've never seen worse tackling in the NFL. I don't want to get too off track, but the Panthers defense was horrible, and the Bengals seemed like they would always just score a touchdown, and Burrow just torched them basically. The Panthers did a good job on offensive scoring touchdowns, but on defense, they couldn't really limit Cincy to any field goals, and it was just straight touchdowns. I think there was 1 field goal for Cincy, but I think 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal. That's not going to be good enough. You have to have better red zone defense, and it didn't work out. The other key play in this game was right before halftime. Bengals, no timeout. They're on like the Panthers, I don't know, 2 or 3, like 10 seconds left. Burrow throws a swing route to the running back, and it's looking like he's going to get tackled by 1 or 2 guys there. And the Bengals are going to have a fuck up. It's going to make up for our 4th and 1 we didn't get earlier on the goal line because there's no time left. They're going to run out of time. They can't kick a field goal. But instead, the guy catches it and he slips, but he slips in like the perfect way possible, where the slip ended up fucking up the defenders coming at him, and he got in the end zone. So I just feel like 2 unlucky plays there. We don't score on 4th and 1. They do score on basically a 4th and short with no time left. So that's a 14-point swing there that changes the whole game. So if you just look at the score, you're like, oh, Panthers lost by 10 and they got fucked up. Nah, you look at a few key plays there. That was like a really close game like we predicted. Just the big plays went opposite ways and made it look worse than it was. I swear I'm not making excuses. I am saying the Panthers D was bad. I just like, it's not like Andy Dalton didn't do anything. Like, this was a close game. It just didn't work out. So Panthers 4.5, loser. Next, we have all reliable, the Indianapolis Colts. Back-to-back weeks we backed them. Week 3, they came through for us against the Bears. Week 4, they come through against us against the Steelers. I love this pick because I saw so many fuckers thinking this pick was dumb. So many people on the Steelers. And you guys all fall for this shit. Like, bro, the Steelers, I'll admit, the Steelers played better than I thought they would. But, like, based on the first 3 weeks, like, you cannot get too high on the Steelers, bro. They were not doing anything impressive on offense. It was all defense. Until a team, like, shows you some sort of life on offense, you can't buy too high on them. So I was not high on the Steelers. I did not think they were a team that had any business laying points on the road in Indianapolis. This was another weird one because AR5 got hurt. Luckily, he did enough. Like, they were up 7-0, and he basically already had them in position to go up 14-0 before he got out of the game. And then Joe Flacco had to take over, and he did good enough to get us through. But, yeah, like I've told you guys before, I like AR5 compared to where the market likes him or doesn't like him. I think he's better than that, better than where the market, projects him at. So I was high on him being able to give the Steelers defense trouble. He was balling. I mean, they were, like I said, basically in position to go 14-0. And then he gets hurt and ends up being a really close game at the end. They were up 17-0 and ended up coming down to the last drive, which is so fucking annoying as a bettor to even have to sweat those kind of games. But it is what it is. The Colts did what they had to do. Colts money line winner. We got it at plus 115, so that was one of our dogs that went out right, our money line dogs. So that was huge for us. Our next one, this was an easy winner. This was the most fun one for me to watch of the day. Just a fucking beat down against a Philly team that I just tend to hate. And I like rooting for Baker. It was fun. We had Bucs money line. This one we had at plus one. Oh, I'm sorry. Rewind. Colts, we had a plus 110 money line. I keep getting the money lines mixed up. The Bucs, we had a plus 115 money line. Outright winner, beat the Eagles' ass. This one wasn't even close. I kind of called this one, I mean, not perfect, but close to perfect in my breakdown video or preview video. The Bucs just own the Eagles, man. The Bucs have a defensive-minded coach and same coordinator as last year, and they know how to beat the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, like I've been telling you guys, he's overrated. They don't have Jason Kelce anymore. And I feel like the Bucs are just designed very well against the Eagles because the Eagles like to play bully ball and kind of pound the middle. Jalen Hurts, bully ball up the middle, whatever it is. Vita Vea is just a monster. This guy fucks up that whole game plan because he dominates the center of the trenches. And this just fucks Jalen Hurts up. It limits what they're good at. And, gosh, I got to say, man, Baker Mayfield, I've had years where I thought he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I don't know if he was just hurt those years and he's healthy now, or he has learned and studied and improved a lot, or just a combination of all of it. But, man, this guy looks fucking good, dude. Like, I was pumped for him in this game. Like, he just makes quick, good decisions, throws a beautiful ball. If there's a little pressure, he'll adjust and pivot and just gets rid of it on time. Like, he is solid. Even, like, I saw he played even better than the stats showed because I saw Mike Evans drop an easy one. I seen a bunch of receivers dropping easy balls. Like, he played almost a flawless game. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. Unbelievable. Bucs come through. Money line plus 115. Huge win for us outright. Let's go with the push on this one. We had Chargers plus 7. I said in my preview video that I was bummed out and mad about not getting a plus 7.5. And of course it comes down to not having that perfect number. That's why numbers matter. We bet this game late, so we got a plus 7 at minus 105. And it just is what it is. The reason I said that I bet this game late was because the quarterback situation for the Chargers was muddy. So these games take forever for me to break down. You know, I know you guys probably think, oh, I just hop on the camera for 5 minutes and talk about a game based on knowledge and gut. No, I am a numbers guy. You can read my Twitter bio. Like, this is all about numbers for me. And I spend it takes a lot of time for me to break down the numbers for these games. And once I have those numbers, then based on the numbers, I can form my own narratives and stories to put on camera. But it's not the other way around. Because if I just do everything off gut, that's just not how, in my opinion, it's a lot harder to win that way. Numbers tell the truth. So my point in saying that is everything takes a long time for me to put together. So I figured this game, I don't even know what's going on with the quarterback situation. I will wait till later in the week to see what's going on. Later in the week, I handicap it, and I had to do a whole thing profile for Taylor Heineke because in case he was going to play. Anyways, long story short, I was good with whoever was going to play quarterback. At that point in time, the number was plus 7, so I just took it at 7. I got to say, Justin Herbert should not have been playing in that football game. He was absolutely horrible. This guy cannot move to save his life. Like, this high ankle sprain, like, bro, I know Taylor Heineke is not the sexiest name. I have a hard time believing Heineke wouldn't have been more efficient than Herbert. Like, Heineke at least can move. Herbert literally could not fucking move at all. Like, it was terrible. I don't know. It's weird because they were up 10-0 and Herbert was horrible and the defense was playing well. It is what it is. It's one you feel like you should have covered because they're up 10-0, getting 7, winning most of that game, and then you could just feel that they were going to lose the game because of how bad they were on offense. And look, I don't know if it's the KC bullshit that they always get, or the Chargers were just that poorly coached, which is weird under a Harbaugh, system. But bro, between Herbert being bad and literally almost every offensive drive, they couldn't even get a fucking playoff without 3 consecutive penalties. So every drive, it was like 1st and 25 or 2nd and 25. Like, it was just a mix. They had no momentum, plus Herbert hurt. It was just a shit show on offense. So I'm glad they have a bye week because I do like backing Harbaugh-led teams. And if I do back them again, I would like Herbert to be able to fucking walk even a step. Like, it was horrible to watch. But is what it is. I'm glad we didn't lose on this play. At least we had a push, even though it felt like one that should have been a winner. I'm not going to complain either way. It was a weird game. So, Chargers plus 7, push. Last one, baby. Raiders money line plus 115. The gift that keeps on giving. Betting against Deshaun Watson. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. Shitty as always. I'm kidding a little bit. He actually didn't play horrible in this game compared to some other games. He was more mobile this game. He was more willing to move and run. which seems to be something he wasn't willing to do as much this year. And he actually made some good throws that he got fucked on. He had one Amari Cooper hit him in the chest. Raiders get a pick off of it. Can't remember, was it a pick six or just a pick? I don't remember, but it was a huge turning point in the game. That was a huge play for sure. And then we had, towards the end of the game, he had a deep bomb that would have put them in the lead. Gets called back for a holding. It is what it is. The Browns just seem to always, they just can't get out of their own way this year. Shit just happens, whether it's Deshaun Watson or somebody else on their team. They're just not a very good football team. And the thing is, guys, you've probably seen me throughout the year talk about, I root for the Raiders. I like rooting for them. But I don't think they're a good team. I think the Raiders are super shitty. And that just tells you what I think about the Cleveland Browns. I bet on the Raiders, who I think are super shitty, because they're playing the Browns. And I bet this game after the news broke that Crosby and Davante Adams weren't playing. Look, I know everybody's obsessed with injuries. Unless it's a quarterback, I'm not as concerned about it. I did say I'm not a fan of the Crosby one. That was a huge one. But Davante Adams one I didn't really care about, and it didn't seem to affect Gardner Minshew. Like, the Raiders couldn't get out of their own way the first drive, and again, I don't know if it's they couldn't get out of their own way. The refs were fucking them because refs love to get involved. But first drive of the game, Raiders had a few nice plays. The refs calling penalties, fucked the whole drive up. Brock Bowers dropped literally the easiest ball ever. That's my biggest pet peeve, is these guys that make so much money, they just can't catch a ball with nobody inside, a floater ball a few yards away. That shit drives me insane. This was a weird one because it started out it didn't start out good for the Raiders. It felt like, they let up a touchdown their first drive. Maybe they're going to get fucked up here, but it's hard to imagine that Deshaun Watson and the Browns are just going to have it all cleaned up by now. And it ended up being a dogfight in that first half, kind of a back and forth there. And the Raiders break away. They get it to 20-10. I'm already internally celebrating, having a good time watching the game. Like, oh, this is great. Raiders are starting to beat the shit out of the Browns. That's how bad the Browns are. Browns have no business laying points on the road. That was my mentality going into this game, and we got a plus money line. We had to take it. And Gardner Minshew, he didn't look horrible. I still don't think he's good, but he didn't look horrible. And it ended up being way closer than we wanted. You know, the fucking White, man, I hate that running back, White. He's shitty as fuck for the Raiders. He fumbles the ball. That's a fumble 6 on the Browns. Thank God the Browns are a poverty organization. They missed the extra point, which is huge. The difference between 3 and 4 is absolutely huge in these games. So now at the end of the game, the Browns, they could not just kick a field goal and send it to overtime. They had to try to win the game because they were down 4 and not 3. That forced them into some bad situations. What was it? I think it was a bad fumble at the end. The Browns were driving. Then I think they had a shitty fumble at the end of the game that put them in a bad spot. And then it ends up being, I think, 2nd and long. Deshaun Watson ends up getting sacked last play of the game. He doesn't even chuck it up for a prayer or a penalty. Shout out to Deshaun Watson for just taking a sack there at the end. That's why we bet against him. The gift that keeps on giving. But yeah, it was a weird one because it had moments where we felt dominant and then moments where I felt like, oh, this is a 50-50 game. Regardless, we were getting plus money in it, so I feel like it was a solid bet. Definitely, Browns should not be the favorite at home. We'll take the plus money with the home Raiders against the Browns in that situation all day. So that's it, guys. Sorry, it's kind of a long video, but a lot of picks, man. And that's it. So we ended 3-2-1, so basically 3-2. I think we made like 1.4 units this weekend. We were already up like 0.23 units. So when it's all said and done, we're up 1.63 units now in the season. So we get to go into next week with a slight cushion, which is a good feeling to have. And we'll see, man. These week by week, everything's unpredictable in the short term. It's only in the long term where things are more predictable. But hopefully this short term weekend coming up works out good for us. I will have pick videos coming out, as you know, throughout the week. And that's it, boys. Let's have another great weekend. Let's keep getting better every week. Keep piling on. Let's get that win percentage up to 55%. And hopefully we just keep getting the bankroll bigger and bigger. And we keep proving that we can do this at a high level. Because so far we're pretty close to being able to say we are. So that's it, boys. Most people betting this year are in the red, and we're in the green. So we are doing pretty good. So I appreciate anyone that's stuck around this long. Please hit the subscribe button. I never say this in these videos. I always forget, but it's so hard to grow on this channel, man. So if you're one of the few people that made it this far, or probably the only person that made it this far, like it, subscribe, comment. Just help your boy out to, get a few subscribers here. That's it, boys. More content coming soon. Peace.